But teacher, this right here takes a lot of time. I know. Well, so is retaking the class, right? Today, I wanted to offer something different. I wanted to talk about how you can get better at math by doing this one thing. I've been a math teacher at community college for over 12 years, and during these years, I've been helping a lot of students get better at math. And I think this is what people should really start doing to get better at math. So let's take a look at this example. Right here, I have my notes from my pre-calculus class. It's about solving a square root equation, all right? So you as a student, of course, you'll be taking the notes in class, yeah? But this is what most students will do. They go home, they just look at the notes before the exam, and okay, instead they go through this. The biggest mistake is that they're just reading over the notes. That's a big no. You cannot just read the notes. Not only it's overwhelming, but you still don't know if you can do the question or not. So this is what you should be doing. You don't need to practice new questions. What I want to tell you is that you should practice the same question. That's the whole purpose of this video. You need to start doing the same question over and over, 2, 3, maybe 10 times if necessary, until you can say, aha, I can do the question on my own. And the moment that you're going through the repeating process, every time you have to ask yourself, can I do faster, right? Can I do this faster? And maybe can I skip some steps? So this is what I will recommend you guys to do. Go ahead. You have your notes. Get a blank sheet of paper ready right next to you, and then pencil, of course. First, if you want to review it, okay, here is the square root equation. You remember the first step is you square both sides because one of the square roots is isolated. By the way, you should always focus on knowing the first step. When you are encountering a new question, always study the first step. Because once the first 1 or 2 steps, the rest should be like a repeat from what you have learned before. So let me tell you guys what I mean. To solve this square root equations, the first step is to square both sides so you can cancel this square. But the left-hand side here is that you have to ask yourself, can you multiply this out? Right here, I wrote down the binomial formula, and this right here is the result. If you get stuck right here, then maybe you have to practice just this part over and over until you are comfortable with it. And then you will see that after squaring both sides, we have this equation, but we still have the square root right here. Then we want to isolate the square root by moving the terms to the other side, right? And then we divide the -2, so we get that by itself. That's good. And then again, square root equation, so square both sides one more time. Okay, now once we get to this point, you can see that the question is, how do we solve this quadratic equation? And to do so, do you remember to make one side equal to 0? Once we finish that, can we factor it? Going from here to here. And there are different processes of factoring, right? There are different situations, different types of factorings. Like, do we remember how to do that? For this one, we factored it to get x minus 2 times x plus 1. Okay, and then we put them equal to 0, and then we get 2 and minus 1. And right here, you can see that these equations, they are supposed to be getting easier and easier. And then right here, when you practice this question again, try to skip steps because that way you can work faster. And the moment that you can work faster, the moment that you can skip some steps, that means you are really improving your math. Again, by practicing the same question. But we're not done yet because 2 and -1, they can be fixed solutions. Whenever we have square root equation, after we square both sides, be careful. So we plug in 2 to check. This right here does work, it's true. So 2 is a solution. But if we plug in -1 into the original equation, we end up with -1 is equal to square root of 1. This right here is false. So -1 is an extraneous solution. You do not want to present that. The only answer is 2. One thing though, do not just reject the -1 because it's negative. That's not true. At the end of the video, I will give you guys another question for you guys to try. I will give you, you'll see, you will have to let me know which one is the fake one, which one is the correct one. So you go through the process. Pay close attention to small details. Do we know how to square this part? If we don't, go to that section in particular and then just practice it. Can we factor it? If we cannot factor it, there are a lot of questions that you will not be able to solve, especially in your algebra and pre-calculus class, and also calculus, of course. And lastly, do you have the good habit to check the answers? After all that, let's think about if we can skip some steps. Okay, we review the notes, yeah? Here, do you have the paper ready? Get your marker and all that. What we are going to do is, we are going to erase this. Okay, don't be jealous of my magical board. But anyways, what we are going to do is that we are going to write down the same question again on the paper. So of course, I will do it on the board with you guys. So we have square root of 3x plus 3 minus 1 equals square root of x plus 2. And then we are going to put away our notes. This time, we are trying to focus on if we can do this 100% on our own. If during the process, you get stuck with like 1 or 2 steps, it's okay to go back to the notes and then pick up like the small things, right? Because this is the first time that we are doing this exercise. And then if you notice that, okay, there's one little part that I had to look at the notes, that means we didn't do it 100% successfully. So we should try again. So let's see what will happen. This is how it should look like. Okay, square root equation, the square root is on the side. Let's go ahead, square both sides, because we can cancel out the square and square root. But for this right here, we will have to expand it. And if you're not too familiar with the formula, it's okay to just go to the side and then write it down. And then just relax. And then we'll do it together. Right? So to write it down twice, and then we are going to do the following. This times this. The square root, they will cancel just the inside. Okay? This times this is minus square root of 3x plus 3. Done with that, now this times this, minus square root of 3x plus 3. Finally, negative 1 times negative 1 is plus 1. Okay, and then we can combine these two terms. And then I'm going to put down the answer right over there. 3x plus 3 minus 2 of this. 2 square root of 3x plus 3, and then lastly we have the plus 1. And of course this right here is a little bit too long. Whenever you have something minus something else, namely a minus b squared, you should use the formula. So if you use the formula, it looks like this. First you will have to know the formula. A minus b squared equals a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. And then for this one right here, you can see a is this. So square root of 3x plus 3 minus 1 squared. This will give us a squared. So like this, minus 2 times ab, which is square root of 3x plus 3, and then plus 1, finally add 1 squared. And then this square and square root cancel, so you see is 3x plus 3 minus 2 square root of 3x plus 3 and then plus 1. Just like that. So either way, done with that. Again, if you're not familiar with this, then you really have to work out this or use the formula. Now, on the right hand side, we have this equal to just x plus 2 because they cancel. Okay, now we are going to isolate this square root because we'll have the equation with a square root, so you have to know that. So let's see, I'm going to subtract 3x to both sides so that this and that cancel, good. And then I'm going to minus 3 to both sides, so this and that cancel, good. And also minus 1 to both sides, so they cancel, good. And we will have negative 2 square root of 3x plus 3 equals, that's negative 2x. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Minus 1 is minus 2. So maybe I still have to write down some steps. It's okay, because this is the first time that we are trying to see if we can do this 100% on our own. Okay, then let's think. here we have a square root part times negative 2. We can actually get rid of the negative 2 by dividing everything by negative 2. Especially they are both negative 2, so we will get whole numbers. That's nice. So this and that cancel. Square root of 3x plus 3 equals, that's 1, x. That's 1. Okay, now square both sides again so that this and that can cancel. And then we have 3x plus 3, just the inside. But for this right here, okay, I get x squared plus 1. No, this is wrong. Because later on you will realize it's not going to be factorable. Then it's like, I get stuck and I get frustrated. No, okay, don't worry about it. Right now, if I get stuck, I am going to go back to my notes and I'll see, I forgot to expand it like the formula. Okay, I'm going to put down the notes again. I'm going to just take my time. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to either use the formula, right? We get x squared plus 2x plus 1, or I'm going to write it down twice and then multiply it out. Okay, so x squared plus 2x plus 1. So this is what we should really have. But teacher, this right here takes a lot of time. I know. Well, so is retaking the class, right? So let's continue. Now, we're encountering this quadratic equation. So, earlier I moved things around. Let's try to see if we can skip steps now. I have to minus 3x to both sides. Okay, so the x there will stay, but 2x minus 3x, that's minus x. Okay, and then I have to minus 3 to both sides. 1 minus 3 is minus 2. Good. So far so good. Then we have to factor this trinomial. Good thing is just x squared, so we must have x and x. So remember that from the previous class. Now we have to think about two numbers. They multiply to be negative 2, and together they add up to negative 1. Negative 2 and 1. And you know you will be doing this so many times. Once you get to this point, let's try to skip steps. This right here, x is equal to 2. Because 2 minus 2 will make this 0. You don't need to write this down again and then like add a 2 to both sides, right? Skip steps. And then right here, x is equal to negative 1. Now, you see, originally they have like a whole board of like math, but right now it's like just half. And remember, we will have to check our answer. Check. When x is equal to 2, put the 2 into the x's. Square root of 3 times 2 plus 3 minus 1. Is that going to give us 2 plus 2? Okay, that's 6. Plus 3 is 9, so square root of 9. Minus 1, do we get square root of 4? This is 3 minus 1, do we get 2? Of course. So 2 is an answer. Now, check if x is equal to 1, then negative 1 if it works. Square root 3 times negative 1 plus 3 minus 1. Do we get square root of negative 1 plus 2? 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, plus 3 is 0, square root of 0 minus 1. In fact, you don't even have to write this down, but it's okay. It's 1, negative 1 is equal to square root of 1. That's false. Right? That's wrong. So, in fact, x equals 2 is the only answer. This right here, it's an extraneous solution, meaning it's like a fake answer. Okay, good. But earlier, I did make a mistake going from here to here, right? So, I'm going to get another sheet of paper, or maybe just the back. Well, actually, another sheet of paper is better, or like a scratch paper. And then I'm going to write down the question and then redo it again. So let's do it one more time. So here, I'm going to write down the question. 3x plus 3 in the square root minus 1 equals square root of x plus 2. Take a deep breath. This time, the goal is we have to do this 100% on our own with no mistakes. Okay? And we'll also try to see if we can work faster and also skip some steps. So here we go. First, we have the square root right here. Go ahead, square both sides. They cancel. Here, a minus b squared. So we will have to square the first term. So we just have the inside, 3x plus 3. And the minus, and we do 2 times this and that. So 2 square root of 3x plus 3. Lastly, we add 1 squared, which is just 1. And then that's equal to x plus 2. Now, we have the equation with this square root. So let's isolate that part. I'm going to just keep that right here, negative 2 square root of 3x plus 3. Well, what happened to these terms? Well, x, I'm going to subtract that with 3x, so that's negative 2x. X minus 3x, because I have to bring this to the other side. And then 3 plus 1 is 4. 2 minus 4, because once you bring the 4 to the other side, it becomes minus. So 2 minus 4 becomes negative 2. Okay, now we have a negative 2 times this square root. Let's divide everything by negative 2. It's nice because they're both negative 2. No fractions after you divide. So square root 3x plus 3 equals, this divided by negative 2 is positive x. Negative 2 divided by negative 2, it's plus 1. Okay, then square both sides. So this and that cancel. We just get inside. Aha! I remember I made the mistake earlier, so hopefully that should help us remember that what the answer should be. This right here is a plus b squared. We get x squared plus 2ab, which is 2x, and then plus 1 squared. Good. Now, quadratic equation, make one side equal to 0. X squared stays. Bring this to the other side, so 2x minus 3x is negative x. 1 minus 3 is minus 2. Factor this, x and x. To get negative 2, we need negative 2 and positive 1. And together, they do add up to negative 1, so good. And then right here, x is equal to 2, x is equal to negative 1. And then, of course, we will have to remember, even though we know the answer is negative 2, right? Even though we know the answer is 2, right? But we should still check the answer. So, put 2 in there. So just go ahead and put 2, just like write it out to show work, especially if you're doing this on the test. But we can try this in our head. This is square root of 9 minus 1. This is square root of 4. That's 3 minus 1 is 2, and that's equal to 2, so done. Correct. So it works. And then if you have negative 1 plus 3 minus 1. Okay, do we get square root of negative 1 plus 2? That's 0. Square root of 0 is 0, so that's negative 1. And then we have square root of 1. That's false. Yes. This is the answer. Get rid of that. Now, if you are really doing this 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 or 5 times, how would you feel about it after you can finally do the question 100% on your own? I'm pretty sure that you'll feel much more confident, and that's the key to help you do better in math. A lot of students, they usually like to practice at different questions, or when they are starting their homework, they just jump right into the new questions. But if they don't even know how to do the questions that they have done before, there's no reason to attempt new questions. And when you do new questions, most likely you don't know how to do them, and you will feel hurt. It's like, oh, I don't know how to do the math. So this is the reason why I'm telling you guys, you should start doing the same question over and over. Use this to help you get better at math. Make sure you never just read your notes. Get out your sheet of paper, write down the question, try to see if you can do the question 100% on your own. Try to see if you can work faster and faster. Try to see if you can skip some steps, if you can do a few steps in your head. Because if you skip steps, of course, that will help you to increase your speed. And that's how you get better at math. Right? Hopefully this video is helpful. But of course, at the end, I'm going to give you guys this question for you guys to try. So here I have these 2 questions. Of course, do not just watch my video. Actually, right now it's your time to get your sheet of paper, write down this question on the paper, turn off the video, and try to see if you can do it again or not. And if you can do it, excellent, great job. And then don't forget to come back to this video and try to see if you can solve this one. Alright, so write this down as well. And leave a comment down below, let me know what the answer to this is. It's a little bit trickier because I want you to make a point, right? You should never just reject the negative numbers because they are negative. But anyways, let me know what the answer is. All right, hopefully this video is helpful. Hopefully this right here really make a difference in your study habit, and you will start seeing the results if you're willing to do this. This will really help you improve your math skills. I trust you guys. I believe in you guys.